Hello everybody, how goes it? Welcome back to another episode of Minecraft with RabidSmore. Whoop, trying to break my ankles there. How's it going, guys? What's going on? I think I just saw that pig again in this tunnel. I don't know how long that guy's been in here. Yeah, there he is, trying to hide around the corner. I see you. I don't know how long that guy's been in there. I still don't really know how he got in there even, but it's always hilarious to see him in here. Every once in a while, I'll come running by this area, and I'll see him kind of just like stuck in the middle of the tube, oblivious that he's in a rabbit tube. He's like he thinks he's a rabbit or something. I don't know, but I love that he'll kind of just be in here sometimes stuck or like bulldozing these rabbits. And I just imagine this chubby pig who, like his fat is sticking alongside the tube. He can't really move that well, and all these rabbits start panicking that they can't get around him or anything. I don't know. Still not sure how you got in there, pig, but you're too funny to remove, so I'm going to let you stay in there. So, in my last episode, I actually had a lot of really positive feedback on my danger room idea, which is awesome. I'm glad you guys really liked that idea, and I hope it inspired some of you to come up with some ideas of your own or do some danger room projects of your own, or even come together with your friends and do something on a multiplayer server. That would be really fun, I think, too, to do like a collaboration where each of you does different traps in your danger room and then you would all go through it at the same time or something. I think it's a really cool idea. I'm glad you guys liked it. And I've been doing a little bit of stuff around our base here, just some tweaks here. You can see here, I don't know if you would notice, but usually I have glass here. I'm just trying out some fence here. Instead, it seems to be a little nicer since it doesn't have that glass texture going over the top there. Let me just grab my axe here so I can show the difference between the two. See if I can chop that one. Got it. And put the glass back on top. There we go. Yeah. It's a big difference since this glass kind of juts out and you can see all the white texture going all the way around. I think I like the fence a lot better, even though it has that weird look to it of kind of having like a big square in the middle of the water. Whoop, not like that. Let me grab that, throw it on top. Maybe I can get it this time. There we go. Yeah, so it has that weird little jut in the water, but I think it's a lot better than having that glass there. So I think I'm gonna use that for now. Since there's no other way to do it, you can't use colored glass because I would change the color of the beam, so whatever. Also, with our mine shaft over here, I've been adding some stairs. This was actually suggested to me a long time ago, and I kind of just forgot about it, or I was too busy working on other projects that I just completely forgot about adding these stairs, but it was suggested a while ago, and I do thank the person for suggesting it. I do remember who it was. It was David a while back, so thank you, David, for that suggestion, and I'm sorry for forgetting it for so long. I just had so many other things to work on, but I started working on adding these stairs here, and I'm still not sure. I have these ones where they're dug in one, and then I tried also putting these stairs on top of the blocks here, and I'm still not sure which one I like more. The ones where they're dug in like this, it makes the room still stay more open, whereas this one kind of makes the room even tighter, so it gets kind of squeezed as you go down. You kind of hit your head as you're going down. But I do like that these ones are kind of flush here. They're on the same level as the rails, so you don't get the weird jut out there for those. So still not sure exactly which ones I'm going to go with. I think I'll start by doing the ones where it's dug out. And if I like it later on, maybe I'll switch it back over. I'm not sure. Or if you guys say that you like one more than the other, I can always switch these around later, so it won't be too big of a deal. But I'll do most of the stuff off camera since it's probably going to take a little while to put all these stairs going all the way up and down here. And I want to get some work done on our danger room for this episode, at least get a little more progress on that, and probably get started on a mob farm or a dark room, basically a spawning room for bad guys to drop in there and filter into our danger room later on. But I'll need to go grab some blocks real quick so we can start working on that. So since last episode, I've done quite a bit of work on the danger room here, which I'll show you guys here. I've done a bunch of expanding and digging out of the areas. So last time, also I've switched quite a bit of stone bricks out here just to try out this theme that I'm going to be doing probably for the rest of the danger room here. I think it turned out pretty nice. But you can see, originally I had just this little tunnel here going around the outside of this cactus area with all these example traps around the outside. And since then I've dug out at least 2 wider on these side tunnels here. You can hear the pistons over there from our beacon. But yeah, a lot more space in here now. And even still, I want to expand it even further, even though it's already pretty large. I'd still like for it to be a little larger, just so that it doesn't get too repetitive in here, and that it's a little harder to memorize paths and know where safe areas are. But yeah, so far pretty cool. And I'm going to be adding, like I said, this stone brick theme through here, using the cracked ones and the mossy and everything, just to make it look like a little dungeon area here. And I thought about doing obsidian just in case we're going to be having creepers going through here. But then I thought maybe that might not be the greatest idea, just to have to deal with the explosions and having to rebuild all the different traps and everything as we go through. So I might just leave that out for now. And once I do add the dark room or the spawning room that I'm going to be filtering in the NPCs from, I think I'll just filter out the creepers and maybe even the spiders as well, because generally spiders, they just end up climbing up the wall and getting stuck in a corner, and they don't really pose any sort of threat. Like, they don't really try to attack the player too much. So I might just leave those out and creepers and just make this a skeleton and zombie danger room going on here, because both of those guys are still plenty dangerous, and really creepers are just there to have the threat of like blowing up your chests and other things like that. It's not really that hard as far as the difficulty goes. I think the zombies and the skeletons will be more than enough, especially without any sort of fancy armor, and the fact that zombies do quite a bit of damage in hard difficulties. So I think that'll be plenty. And I'm still not sure where I'm going to be dropping in all of the mobs from, since I know I want to filter them in from our spawning area. I might end up doing like a redstone system that kind of sends the zombies off into each corner. So you get like, each one will go into a corner, so it'll be a zombie, then the next one will go into this corner, then the next one, whether it's a skeleton or a zombie, goes to this corner. And it just kind of filters them around so that you don't really know where they're coming from at any given time, and that there's no real safe spot to sit as they're filtering in. It'd kind of be like a Pac-Man-esque kind of thing, which I guess this whole thing's kind of Pac-Man-esque, but a lot more dangerous. So I think that'll be a cool system once I get that all set up, though, later on. Pretty good progress so far here on doing all these stone bricks here. Got almost 2 sides full tunnels on here finished so far, but I thought of something while I was working on this that maybe you guys would have some input on. I was actually at a maker's fair over the weekend with some family members, and if you're not familiar with what it is, it's pretty much a get-together for people that create things, like all the way from jewelry to making armor to making robots and things like that. Basically, a huge get-together of people that would create anything, like anything you can think of that would be created. They get together and get to show it off to the public. So it's pretty cool. And it was actually a lot of fun to go to and get to see all the different things. But something I noticed there were a lot of 3D printers. And I'm not going to get into whether or not 3D printing is actually making something, but what I want to know is how practical they are, like how cost effective it is to actually buy one, or if it's worth it. What do you guys think about that? What I was thinking is, like, if you were actually using them to build pieces to replace things, or maybe to build something that you would instead have to buy for a lot of money at a store, how long it would take to actually replace or actually pay off what it took to actually buy one of the 3D printers themselves. And I'm not really sure. Like, I completely understand the hype around them and the fact that you basically get to print whatever you can think of. You can think of something, you get to go around. Let me get some more stone bricks here. Let's throw these together. There we go. But yeah, you get to pretty much print whatever you could think of, and I can understand that it would actually be well worth buying it if you think of your own things and you create them, and then you get to print them and see what they look like. That's definitely worth buying it, so you could actually come up with designs and have them printed out, come up with your own things, and you get to see them kind of fleshed out. That's really cool. But what I want to know is, say like something breaks in your house or breaks on some mechanical piece somewhere breaks, and it would probably cost you like $5 to $15 to go to a store and buy that part again, and you could print it for probably like 10 cents or something on the 3D printers. And with that kind of situation, I wonder how long it would take to actually be able to pay it off. Like, how many different things would you have to have break and then print to pay it off? And I don't really know. I'm sure someone's done the math on it, but yeah, it was just something I was thinking about that maybe you guys would have some input on, especially if some of you have some experience. Maybe you know someone that has a 3D printer, or you have a 3D printer. Just thought I would bring that up just to spark some thought. Well, it doesn't look like much yet, but this is the start to my mob spawning room for above the danger room area. You can actually see down here the water tunnel that I used to get up here, but down there is the danger room. So I tried to build this pretty high up so I'll be able to filter the mobs around and move them around in tunnels if I need to, try to get plenty of space. But I think I'm going to go with a traditional mob spawning system here. I'm going to be using the 3x3 platforms here to spawn my mobs. I'm going to be putting the slabs in the center so I don't have to worry about spiders spawning in here. And then I'll have water pushing them in. I can actually show that. Here's the center point for where this farm is going to be. If I go ahead and break out this side piece here and place my water, you can see it'll push all the way straight into this hole where our collection is going to be going into the mob farm. So that'll be plenty good to push anyone that falls off the edge down to the center there. So yeah, I just need to get these 3x3 areas set up. Those will spawn our zombies and skeletons, and I can start pushing them into the center. And I think what I'm going to do is once they start falling down, they'll go into a certain collection area. I'll use that to filter out the creepers by using an ocelot since they run away from those guys. And I'll just push them off into like a trapdoor area where I guess I could drop them using a fall trap to actually kill them and collect some gunpowder. But yeah, that'll separate those guys out so I don't have to worry about them coming in and blowing up the danger room later on. Where is this one going over here? But yeah, this is pretty much just the start to that. Once I get this all set up, then I can start working on the separation of the creepers, and then I can start working on the tubes that are going to be moving them around, like pushing them into the corners like I said earlier on in the episode. But it shouldn't be too hard to get this one going. And I'm not sure if I'll come through and make this look nicer later on. Since I won't really be seeing it, I might just do it just to have it there. And I might do a second layer here as well, depending how many things spawn here. Obviously, I'll have to torch up all of the caves in the area since it will stop them from spawning in here if there's a bunch of dark spots elsewhere. So I'll have to do quite a bit of work on that, just looking for caves around the area, lighting them up. But if this room isn't enough to spawn a decent amount of zombies and skeletons, I'll just go through and make probably another layer up here that will also filter into the same hole from straight above here. It wouldn't be too difficult to do. But yeah, pretty good start here on our spawning area. It would figure that the first time I've ever seen an Enderman pick up a cactus that he took the one out of my danger room that I had placed. And now, okay, nope, what happened? What even happened there? I dropped on the creeper. He apparently didn't see me. It looked like he was glitched out almost, and then he fused up. Well, at least he just blew up afterwards, or there was only one, so I didn't have to worry about it blowing up my gear. And I think the Enderman should not be chasing me anymore. But yeah, this jerk he just comes in here, takes the cactus, and obviously he's not going to place it back there because he's a jerk. I can't believe he just took that off. The only cactus in the entire area. There are no more cactus in this entire region. He just comes in and picks it up. No big deal. I guess it was better than falling in this lava that I fell into this pit with this creeper. That could have been a lot worse. I'm going to try out something with our villagers over here. By the way, I keep getting more animals over in this cliffside area. I don't know what's up here. Maybe there's something in the water that makes these guys think that they're mountain goats or something, but it started with just this pig who I've had, I think, since the beginning of this series. And now I have like one of every animal over here, so I guess they're just collecting up, and maybe I'll just have to come through and put some name tags on them, make some holding cages or something, I don't know. But soon enough, I guess we'll have a cow and everything else, wherever they even come from, I don't even know. But I want to do an experiment with our villagers over here. This village area over here that I made seems to be working pretty well so far. Hopefully that makes it. Yep. It worked pretty well. We haven't had any villagers fall off that I can tell. The numbers seem to be the same amount of villagers. The problem is that they don't really seem to move around too much. These guys are just kind of chilling, talking about their life stories or whatever. These guys over here are kind of obsessed with this side here, and I think it's because they see that house down there in the wheat farm as a valid house for villagers, so they all want to go down there and go into it since it has a door on it. And at least that's what I'm guessing, because they kind of just sit in this corner and stare off in this distance. So I want to see if I go over here and throw some doors onto one of these, or maybe a couple of them, if it'll bring them over. So let's see here. I'll have to put some solid blocks. And some doors. Will that bring them over? Well, while I'm waiting, I'm going to do the rest of these here really quick. Just to see if we put a couple doors over here, if it'll draw them over. Because they should see these as houses once they have doors on them. And I don't think they care if it has 1 or 2 doors. I think they should still see it as a house. Does that bring any of them over? Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do. Maybe I'll have to build this tree or this whole thing over a little further so it's not as close to that one over there. I don't know. Because they don't have any way to directly walk to that village or to that house there, so I don't see why they would be so obsessed with it. Like, obviously they could walk straight over to these houses if they wanted. But that doesn't seem to be the case. I guess none of them want to go over there. All right, well, I'll have to find something out later on. I'll try a couple of experiments and see what I can do up here. Hopefully we can get them to walk around and actually treat this as its own village later on, though. I guess worst comes to worst, I would have to actually move the wheat farm somewhere else where they can't see it instead of moving all of this around. But yeah, I guess I'll get into that later on. Alright, well I think that about wraps it up for today's episode, guys. Got quite a few projects started, and I think that's the way to go with this kind of Let's Play series. Instead of just doing one project and then finishing it immediately and then going on to another one, I think it's probably better to have a couple projects started and being able to work on several throughout each episode so that there's more reason to come back and always something to do instead of having to think of things to do. So it's probably better just to have a couple things to juggle around and a couple projects to finish. So yeah, got quite a few things started in this episode, some things finished, so pretty good amount of progress. So pretty much wraps it up for today's episode, guys. So as always, thanks for watching, have an excellent day, and see you later.